Welcome, market navigators, to the wild ride of 2025. Wish I could have packed this video sooner, but unfortunately I was hoping to see 96K 2 weeks ago, and it never came. In fact, we still haven't closed a weekly candle above it, but I couldn't wait any longer. There are many technical reasons on why this level is so crucial. This video will be long, and I apologize for it, but it will be worth it. Last year, I warned that this year would test us all. The eclipse, the equinox, the horn goddess, and then the grim reaper. Those signs came true. Bitcoin soared to the 105K in January, exactly as I predicted, catching the cycle top to the millimeter. I exited at 95K, shorted at 107K along with the SP 500, and focused on other markets such as gold, the ruble, and the volatility index. Today, May 4th, 2025, the brutal drawdown cycle ends, and a new cycle begins. I'm here to map out the most volatile year in decades, so let's dive into the charts and the path ahead, step by step. But first, a quick recap. My first public post on X in 2024 laid out my timing plan, where I was calling the two-time tops for 2024, April 1st and October, along with the August 5th bottom at 49K and the volumetric tops between December 2024 to January 2025. In that picture, I also flagged two-time bottoms for 2025, June and December 2025. Why am I obsessed with two tops and two bottoms? Moving back to 5 years ago, the COVID crash was meant for 2019, but an anomaly delayed a year, shifting all market cycles forward. This sparked an early bull run that caught many off guard but me. Those chasing the halving cycle myth missed the lion's share, lagging behind market makers who rode the real wave, probably out of conviction for some crypto myths old as time, such as Bitcoin never rallies on a halving year, let alone breaks the 69K past all-time high before halving, or never scores cycle low below the past all-time high, and such. In November 2024, right after the October time top, price was forming a potential quadruple top, which couldn't hold, as it would break market structure forever if successful. Price quickly picked up and reached all of my realistic targets for this cycle as I warned, culminating into the 105K excess zone and topping at 109K 109 weeks after the 2022 bottom. I exited at 95K, short of the bounce at 107K with premium members, and saw the market drop to 74K by April, filling the November gap I was warning about in my November video, and right on time by March. The Grim Reaper Trump came to garnish everything. Just kidding, he isn't the Grim Reaper, but merely an emissary of time, like me. News always falls when time is right. While members asked me whenever they should buy the dip, I warned that while 74K was the hard floor, it would be extremely risky to just try and pick falling knives in the meat butchery that April would have been. See, if this cycle played along like the others, April would have been alt season month. Instead, top 20 altcoins started rugging in their old criminal fashion ways, while BTC dominance kept increasing and will do so in the following 3 months. So while crypto investors lost fingers trying to catch the 85K dip, only to see it fall 10K points lower and late shorters getting pounded soon after the inevitable rebound, us in the Saturn Premium rooms moved on to more active markets, leaving shorts open and crushed it. A ruble long in December, riding geopolitical tensions and speculation about the collapse of a nuclear superpower. Like that will ever happen, a volatility index breakout above $24, signaling risk-off moves and gold bottom against Bitcoin on February 3rd, defying bearish calls on safe havens. Again, back in November, I warned that the November 11th date, extracted from Bitcoin's name chart, was a crucial inversion point. On that day, Bitcoin printed its biggest daily candle to date. Fast forward to April 4th, the twin sister date. The first sell-off of this bear market shifted across all markets on this date, and Bitcoin started rising again, concerningly with no volume, just like it did on the second peak of the past cycle. Means that it's mostly shorts covering or hedging, no big boys involved. As of May 4th, 2025, the drawdown cycle is over, leaving markets in a standoff. Bitcoin hit a double bottom at 74K, as I called, and trades at 95K, the same level I exited in January, the first revisit since. The sunup left a trail of small gaps which will act just like the 74K gap, so it would be advisable for Bitcoin to close them before attempting anything else. Bitcoin effectively skipped the pit stop at 88K, a key level on my moon chart, and also the bull/bear line, reinforcing the idea of a much-needed cool-off. The 95K midpoint of Bitcoin's 2022 to 2024 range is critical. No weekly close above 96. 5K keeps the downtrend alive, because that's where the downward swing was activated. We're currently in a new cycle until September, with a possible rally along the way if those conditions are met. The September-October's volumetric peak looms. However, it won't necessarily be a top. Here's the 2025 roadmap. A correct approach with no biases is essential, but my bias is and will remain bearish across all markets until proven otherwise. Still, markets have the final word, so I trade on my terms, exiting at 95K in January and having no pressure into making irreversible actions in the most dangerous times ever. Market makers want your money on the line and want you to FOMO. I decide when to play. When I leave the market daily, my money leaves with me. That said, let's start with a macroscopic view. My moon chart deserves no explanations as I talked plenty about it this year. Some of you asked me if it was possible to get a broader view instead of monthly quadrants. Luckily, we can rely on Neptune as well since it recently closed a historical 165 years long cycle, dating back to the American Civil War. Moving on to the equinox chart. This is one of my favorite. The September-March equinox square I posted last year encapsulated every move Bitcoin made, and most importantly, it predicted the exact price levels and the reversal week between the 108 to 109K tops occurred between December and January. It's only thanks to this chart if I was so confident about 74K being a hard floor. The next equinox chart will obviously go from March 2025 to September 2025, and I remind once again that a volumetric peak is expected on the latest. Keep in mind that while the time angles are natural dates or static levels, this year the 4x1 marked the 109K top on January 20th. So it would be best to keeping them in high regard. Out of two suggested paths, market makers chosen the upward one. So this means that we can expect upward pressure to last generally until the midpoint, which will obviously be the summer solstice of June 22nd, and it could reverse its path after that. I said could, because inversions are always theoretical. Before moving on price talks, let me finish about time, which is far more important. In this regard, I always favor the Bitcoin name chart, which using numerological patterns from Bitcoin's creation pinpoint numerological triggers, shift dates, May 7th, 10, 15, 20, 22, June 1st to 3rd. While I said the trend will be generally upward oriented, assuming that this or any other weekly candle is closed well above 96. 5K by now until June, two paths emerge. Case 1, May's first half is red, failing to meet price at 104K, where it's supposed to be on this month with a correctly squared chart, and dropping between 93K and 85K. And even if 85K is lost, the huge 74K midpoint awaits. So it won't be easy breaking down soon. Then green, again trying to reach 104K. A bottom should be formed in the first days of June and later turn green up to the first week of August, again correcting down and peaking between September and October where the cycle bottom awaits. Case 2, which is my invalidation. May's first half is green, breaking and holding 104K. The target is the January 2025 ADH, and the time to do so will expire between June and July, months that should respectively be green and red, scoring a high and then correcting whenever the all-time high has been breached or not. September is green, and along with October, it's the final volumetric peak. Only I would have been invalidated here. So this is the true top for 2025 and opens the door to alternate futures with richer promises. What are the price targets then, you may ask? Like in 2024, no one can tell you 2 months prior to the event, so it's pointless to speculate before the awaited 96. 5K weekly close happens. The excess targets are still there, left waiting for a future meeting, so you can count on them being resistances harder now than they were 3 months ago. And I'm sure everyone already the sub 70K targets. Price action hinges on a weekly close above 96K to invalidate the February bearish swing, regardless of when and if it will ever happen. No 96K weekly close means another chance of the summer 2024 lows. 50K, 60K, no triple bottom as time for lows began. If it isn't soup, it's wet bread. Markets follow these rhythms. May 24th, Saturn's cycle closes, signaling a worldwide reset. I'll update at May's end. The ephemeral will be weeded out. The rightful will strengthen its roots. Such is the way Saturn, the real one, operates. I'll leave you with one final tip regarding 2025. This year is extremely important for multiple reasons. First, we are exactly 45 degrees this millennium. And this means that for the first time since 2000, the danger of an inversion from 20 years of straight-up positivity is extremely high. Second, we are exactly 72 years after 1954, which was the year where the S&P 500 broke out of the Great Depression downtrend and started the eternal bull run, which is still ongoing since then. Without giving you a crash course on numerology, know that 45 stands to 360, like 72 stands to 144. If 45, or 1/8 of 360, is a potential inversion, 72 being half of 144 is an extremely likely inversion. You don't need to be a top pro to realize that the April monthly candle closed on the S&P 500 is far from the end of it. I dare you to find such a candle anywhere in the charts. Not even COVID saw such a few people moving so much money at once. Crime being legal means that the market makers will go all out. No rules of engagement, no Geneva Conventions. Before leaving you to the next video, I want to ask this question. Is it worth it to give your destiny into their hands by investing long-term this year? Sure, you gotta risk it if you want the biscuit. Just how much can you endure? The year barely begun. Personally speaking, I find myself comfortable into being master of my own destiny. Last notice, with an extremely accurate master chart, which is the hexagon chart, based on the numerology of 7, same as the moon or Saturn, which together rule the monthly and yearly quarters of human life, starting from your business week and ending onto the maturity development. It helps to automatically frame the price-time cycles by law of nature. As you can see, we are once again in the final cycle of the 2022 to 2024 bull run, which at the moment looks top tier, half a spin inside this 93 to 126K cycle. There is indecision on both this and the previous 61 to 93K cycle, where neither completed a full spin. Food for thoughts. Even though it seemed pointless now that media reports daily about how the market is uncertain, there are times where market makers aren't so loud. And this is where the hex comes into play. There is no limit to the potential hidden into numerology. While technical analysis and price misleads, because the markets are composed of 8 rich guys and the rest accounts for pennies. While astrology can be delayed, cause the markets are artificial creations, math cannot be cheated, and it's the core engine of the Saturn system. Hopefully we all will make through this hell, but it will be almost impossible for those who wander blindly. I'll end the video by thanking all of the premium members and those who supports me even on the outside for the time spent together and the kind words. I want to share this one with you, as I believe I slept 3 or 5 hours per night in the past 2 months working on an extremely important development for the Saturn system. It will now be able to forecast ideal prices 1 hour into the future, giving a new level of freedom for the contributors of the Saturn system, which will be able to simply log onto their exchanges on the correct hour of the day and do their thing, then enjoy the rest of the day. Sounds sketchy, right? Yet we got the 96K and 97K breakout an hour before they happened. Be sure to check my next video and the montage with the March-April forecasts I will post in the following day. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the next update.